Oh, you know what was big when I was young? Fish sticks.
Really?
You ever do fish sticks?
I never did. Maybe, I don't know if that was maybe a Louisiana thing. There was more fish sticks by you. But I also grew up by the water too, but I never dabbled in a fish stick. What is it, I guess, theoretically? Just a...
What about a warm clam or something come across the table once in a while? Yeah?
Yeah. Never at home. I don't know if I can... One time I tried to make clams in my house, and it was a massive failure. Yeah. You have to... Because you literally have to wait to make sure if they're alive or not. Oh. If they don't open immediately, they're still alive. So if you have to pry it open, it's dead and you can't eat it. So that was troubling to me. And then I tried to cook them on the barbecue. It didn't work out.
And how do you know if they're alive? Is you just whisper in there? Like, how do you even know?
I believe what the process was you put them in under hot water. Oh. You boil them, and then the ones that crack open are dead, and then that's the ones you eat. I was on a big clam kick like during COVID. During COVID, I tried to just expand my culinary life.
Yeah.
And it was during COVID, so it was probably 3 years ago now. But the ones that don't open, dead. Big dead.
They're dead.
Dead. And you can't pry them open and eat them because that would be eating a dead thing.
Oh, yeah. And you don't want to, I think there's something like, even in the clam culture, you don't like, after something's buried, you don't go get, No. You don't get in the coffin with it. Absolutely
not. And then we can't cook it. We got to eat raw clams. I wonder if I were to make a baked clam, though, if I could have a dead baked clam.
That's a good question. See, that's the problem then. Because then they're all closed, right? So you don't know the difference?
Well, the baked clam is usually, they'll like take the clam, they'll shuck the clams, take the clam out.
Oh, yeah.
And then put it in.
On the half shell.
Well, put it on the half shell and then, but bake it so it gets cooked. I mean, everything is dead before it gets cooked.
Yeah.
But raw clam, obviously can't eat a dead one, I guess. It always interests me that clams and oysters are living things.
Oh, well, someone told me one time that clams are like oysters that got molested when they were kids and never grew up.
Yeah, I could kind of see it. I mean, when I do envision clams and oysters, I think of oysters as maybe, say, the grandfather of shellfish.
Yeah.
They're definitely the elders. They're the senior citizens.
Oh, they have like a newspaper under their arm.
Oh, yeah. Maybe a walker.
Yeah.
Trying to just wrangle in a clam to tell them about the old days. Yeah. And then there's the mussels, too. I love a good mussel. But those are the big three.
It's hard to denote sometimes the difference for me between clams and mussels. Let's look at what is the purpose of oysters in the ocean, Zach? Let's look it up because we've actually been talking about this on here. That oysters are like I
would bet they're pretty vital, honestly.
Yeah, oysters are a crucial component of global ocean health. These animals, they're animals, filter and clean the surrounding water and provide habitat, food, and jobs. Wow. So they're kind of like a temp service or something, maybe, I guess.
And their reefs could also serve as barriers to storms and tides. That's pretty sick.
Wow. So they got a lot of responsibility. How do they filter? Can you look up how oysters filter in the ocean? Because if they're filters, and this is the crazy part, that if they're filters, oysters, clams, and other shellfish help remove excess nitrogen from waters by incorporating it into their shells and tissues as they grow.
That would make sense. I feel like I've never seen a clean oyster shell.
That's a good point.
They're all pretty damn dirty.
They're all got a little bit of dirt in there.
They're sacrificing themselves for the ocean, apparently. Which is interesting. You learn something new every day.
But that's crazy. Then, so say you broke into like a trap house, right, somewhere.
Yes, sir.
And there's some dude in there. He's dirtied up, right? He's got soil. He even have a little bit of soil around his mouth, right? And then you just put, right? You put horseradish on him.
You were dumping horseradish on him?
Well, because that's where like an oyster is.
Yeah, dude. You're right. No, horseradish would take him out pretty quickly.
So horseradish are kind of like...
That would be his kryptonite.
That would be his kryptonite. But then you eat him. Like, that's what you're doing. You're basically... Because an oyster is like something like it's like a car filter. Remember your grandfather's car filter? He would turn off the little screw thing. He'd open it. He'd pull that filter out.
Yes, sir.
So that's kind of what we're eating.